Baseball is the greatest game in the world. The tribal chief, the head of the table.
DraftKings podcast host Jared Carrabis.
Acknowledge him.
The best ever.
If I wanted to, I could have played professional baseball.
We're going to talk baseball.
Wow. We're rubbing it in the faces of people who think that the sport's dead. We're here to show you that it's not. When people say, this is my life, no. Like this is my life.
Hey, top of the morning, everybody. Welcome to the latest, greatest episode of the Sweat Tuesday Takeover with Jared Carrabis. Starring Jared Carrabis, Steve Buchanan, Jesse Cofield. I'm Emerson Lazia. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back from the desert, dude. You look nice.
Clap.
It looks
and
like
tan. Clap.
Oh, Steve,
Clap.
Thank
it
you.
looks
good.
like he was in the desert. Look at him, he's sunburned.
This is from yesterday.
pal.
I wore sunscreen, and it was a roof in Arizona, so I didn't get sun in Arizona. I got burnt from the Cape League yesterday.
Oh, you didn't wear
how was that?
sunscreen yesterday.
I was gonna, but then I just forgot, and then I was like, am I a wimp? Is it not cool to ask for sunscreen?
No, dude.
No,
it
it's
actually
actually
shows
very
great
cool
maturity.
these
It's cool to
days.
ask for
Great
it.
maturity.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
hey, I want to continue to live. Can
yeah.
I have some sunscreen?
Well, now I know. Now I'm a little toasty, but that's
Little
okay. I needed
toasty.
some sun,
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about what went down in Arizona a little bit later on
Okay.
in the show. We'll get
Yeah,
the full
needed you to know
rundown,
that.
Yeah.
including you reporting live from a pool, which was
I did.
pretty
I did
cool.
do that. Yeah.
Legs look good out there.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
yeah.
Glad someone
right.
said it.
I love your
Thank you.
legs.
Too
Thank
early.
I love your legs.
Thank
I
you.
was, it was just, the tattoo thing was when we really saw the legs.
Yeah.
But it was a low-key leg reveal without much fanfare.
It's been a lot of just legs going on
A lot of
recently.
man meat, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to debut the legs, but then the Rockies happen to come to town.
Yeah.
I have to do the tattoo thing, and I'm wearing shorts for that. And then the next week, it's like, oh, we're actually gonna put you in a pool on national television, and I was like, okay, so can I wear pants in the pool? No, and they gave me like MLB Combine shorts that I had to wear. I felt naked out there.
It seemed you looked different
embarrassing.
wearing shorts,
Yeah.
doing all of those
It
interviews.
looked,
and we'll
but
talk
the
about
legs
it. We'll
looked
talk
great.
about it.
But
They
I
look-
just want to say, now that you've said that, it would have been an all-time hilarious move for you to wear pants in the pool.
Yeah.
Just sit there in the pool with your pants on.
They
'Cause I
should
was
have let me do that, but
Yeah.
no, I had to. It was a double whammy. It felt like a lot of leg, and I wasn't ready. you
Hot
know?
leg
And it
summer.
was for free.
It's
Yeah.
hot leg summer
It
though,
was
because
for
should've
free.
been-
free.
These are like you got to do like an OnlyFans thing if you're going to start showing that much leg.
Like
That's what
Jessie
I'm
did that with
saying.
her Harry Potter picture. You know, Jared's
Yeah.
doing it with the legs. Like
That's
a
true.
Exactly.
Yep.
Jared's like,
A lot
what are
of
you talking
content for
about?
free.
Okay, let's talk about baseball though, really quick.
okay. Speaking of free content.
We'll get back to the leg talk later in the show. Braves Red series was
Ooh.
electric.
It was.
It was giving us everything we wanted, living up to the expectations, and then some. 3 one-run games, 47 total runs. Ellie Cycle, is this a dream NLCS right now that we are living through?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. There's a lot of mediocrity right now in the National League, but these two guys right here, Ellie De La Cruz did not get called up until what 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
But I mean, we could be looking at the two guys that go head to head for the National League MVP, kind of like what Shohei versus Judge is in the American League. You could be looking at that in the National League with their skill sets. I mean, they've got the combination of speed and power. And even a guy like Acuna, I think he has the strongest throwing arm in Major League Baseball. So they can do it all. Whereas you look at a guy like Judge, he hits for power, he hits home runs. Shohei Ohtani, he can hit home runs and he can run fast and he pitches. These guys, they talk about 5 tools, they've got all of it. So it was an exciting series. It felt like the Reds won the series even though they didn't. Because even in the series finale, they had so they won the first game, which was a comeback. They were losing 5-0. Joey Votto hit 2 home runs. Ellie De La Cruz hits for the cycle. Very exciting stuff. In the second game, they lose by 1 run, but they hit back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the 9th to get within 1. Very close, very dramatic. And then in the series finale, they had the game-tying run at third base in the bottom of the ninth. So, yes, the Braves won the series, but I think the Reds showed up big time. Their starting pitching is awful, though.
Well, and that's actually where I was going to go with this. Like, if the Reds were to make it to the NLCS, like something had to have changed with that pitching staff, or like the guys are just performing better, because they are not going to make it to any championship series with that current pitching staff. Like, here's the thing, like when you think about like those slugfests that we see, it's not because there are good pitching involved. Like, it's because like the pitching is poor, and that's like what we were seeing from the Reds, and that's going to be their biggest detriment is they can't keep playing from behind. Like, it makes for a great story. It makes for great theatrics, but that is not a winning strategy for the rest of, like, how many games left? Like 90 games for the rest of the year, just about? That is not going to be a recipe for success. You're going to have to come back because your pitching is so poor. So that's going to be something they need to address if they're going to actually go for a playoff berth this season.
Yeah, it says that the rotation's ranked 28th in MLB.
It's horrible.
Now.
Bad.
It's horrible.
Really bad.
Yep.
Bad.
Not great.
Yeah, and ERA is a group of what, almost 6?
Yeah.
But again, this was not supposed to be a
24th
team
innings
that's
pitched.
even supposed to be in this position. This was not supposed to be a competitive team. So it was
Right.
not built to be this type of team. They're just playing way above expectations right now.
Jared, can Ellie De La Cruz catch Corbin Carroll for Rookie of the Year?
Oof.
I want to say it's not impossible, but that it's not an indictment on Ellie so much as it is a compliment to Corbin Carroll, because when you talk about Corbin Carroll, it's less about the Rookie of the Year award, and it's more like this dude is going to insert himself into the National League MVP conversation. Yep. Like, I think if Ronnie stays healthy, it's his. It's his to lose. But Corbin Carroll is making a strong case for himself. Like, he could finish top 5 for that thing. So, like I think it's more of like an MVP discussion than a Rookie of the Year discussion.
For sure. Corbin Carroll for NL Rookie of the Year. Steve, minus 450. Ellie De La Cruz second, plus 400 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a close race right now for Rookie of the Year. I think, like, Jared was saying, like, he could finish top 5. Like, he's runner-up right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even think it's a question at this point that Carroll has been that good. And he's a legit another 5-tool player. Like, he's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the fielding, he's got a little bit of everything. Like, we know that Ellie has the potential to be one of these guys, but, some of these guys come up and they produce fast and then they start to kind of drop off a bit. Like, Jordan Walker is a perfect example from the Cardinals. Another highly touted prospect was there for the opening day roster. The Cardinals sent him down. Was it more of they were trying to control his service time with the team than production? Probably, but Jordan Walker has been good, but he's not been like the top tier guy that some people expected. So I think Carroll is going to be, I think is going to win the Rookie of the Year as long as everything stays healthy. But when it comes to MVP, like, there's still a lot of season left. If both of these guys continue to play at this level, like, it's going to be a really fun MVP race going down the wire.
Yeah, and Jared, going back to what you were just saying, Corbin Carroll's second NL MVP odds right now. Ronald Acuna Jr. is the heavy favorite, minus 145. Carroll's plus 500.
All right.
De La Cruz also, one of just like the many young guns, as we know, like the Reds are riding to their success. And the beautiful thing about like young studs like this, they're cheap, right? But how about we look at the top 5 teams in terms of payroll in Major League Baseball right now? These top spending teams absolutely stink here, dude. So the top 5 payroll teams, no higher than 3rd in their respective divisions. Is this good or bad for baseball?
Ooh. Both? Like it's a little bit of both. I think, the owners that are in the conversation right here, like Steve Cohen, the Steinbrenners, even just like over in San Diego, like that owner is spending like, hey, I'm going to die soon, so I'm going to just, like, I don't have to worry about signing you Darvish until he's 41 because I'm not going to be here for the end of that contract. I think the owners that don't want to spend are going to use this as an excuse to not spend, and the owners that want to spend are going to say, we didn't spend enough. Like, we got to go out and spend more because apparently they're going to blame it on the nerds. They're going to say, all right, I'm allocating $500 million per offseason for you to go out and spend on this roster. Spend it more wisely, I guess, or make better choices with the money that I'm giving to you to write these checks to these players. And you can look at the Padres as the prime example of that, because I I will always commend an owner that's going to spend as much money as he or she possibly can. But Nelson Cruz, like all these guys, like you're extending Jake Cronenworth and Yu Darvish and the I love Xander Bogaerts, but that contract is going to be an albatross. I mean, it's already looking that way right now.
Yep.
And then also, taking out the human element, right? Like, how many people, when you give a boatload of cash to them, are they like, I'm motivated to do more now. Like, I'm motivated to take my game to the next level, versus how many guys are going to say, I'm good now. Like, that's great. Like, I'm financially secure. I never have to, like, my kids don't have to worry about college tuition. I'm good. And then they take their foot off the gas. And I think that there's some of that going on in San Diego too. So I think it's more about that's why it's both. Like because spending the money, you commend an owner that's going to do that, but the ones that don't want to spend money are going to look at that and say, listen, why would we spend money? Like, these teams are not good.
And Steve, a team with a fat payroll, not necessarily in contention right now, compared to teams at the bottom of the pack in terms of how much they're spending that are in contention, how does it impact whether they're going to be buyers or sellers at the deadline?
I think this is something that hasn't been talked about enough yet, and that this trade deadline could be a stalemate. There are so many teams that are quote-unquote in contention right now, or teams that are underperforming, like these high-priced teams, like
the Mets,
the Padres. Like, those are going to be teams that are going to be like, okay, we're definitely not going to wave the white flag. We can't, so we're going to buy. Who are you going to buy from? Like, all of these teams are still in contention. Like, you look at the wild card race right now, every team except two teams, Royals and Athletics, are within 9.5 games of a wild card spot. Every team, aside from the Cardinals, Rockies, and Nationals in the National League, are within 8.5 games of a wild card spot. No one is necessarily out of it. So who are the sellers? So now it's like, now the price of these trade chips are going to be even higher, because it's like, well, if you're going to try to pry away something from me, I need something in return because I'm still in the mix too as well. So I really feel like the trade deadline could be next to nothing, because nobody's going to be quote unquote a seller except for maybe 4 or 5 teams. Like, that's scary to think about when you think about what the cost of some of these players could end up being, because everyone's going to be going to Oakland for pieces. Everyone's going to be going to Washington or Colorado for pieces. And they have the advantage here because it's like, well, everybody's coming to us. So what are you going to give us? So I think the trade deadline is going to be a whole lot of nothing. And by the way, trade deadline is a Tuesday. That's one of our shows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at us.
It's going to be wild.
Hey, look at us.
Are you going to be here?
Crazy.
I'll be here, yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm always here. Except for last week.
This couch was pretty empty last week.
Yeah, well, you know.
I sat in that spot because we have the same initials.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That's
Wow,
true.
Just
that is
sat in
awesome.
spot.
Us and Jesus.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
WWJD, what would Jared, Jesse, and Jesus do?
Right.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, last week, biggest story coming out of Yankee Stadium
What the heck?
was Wemby throwing out the first pitch. What would Wemby do?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Look at the baseball in his hands. Like, wait, can we get a look at it?
Yeah.
That's insane. Look at those mitts, Jared. Like, what do you even? I mean, that just looks insane.
A great
It's a hell of a change-up right there. That's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they get through.
And then the video of him holding the bat, it looked like a baby toy. It didn't look
How
like
tall
a
is he officially?
He's like 7'7".
yeah.
7'7".
7'6" or
correct.
7'7".
That is not correct.
find
Yes,
out.
it is.
No,
Do you
no.
want to make a bet that I'm within inches of the correct answer?
Oh, wow.
You're
Like
definitely
what,
within
12?
inches.
7'3".
I have a
Okay,
question.
I
have
was
a
within
question.
inches of the right answer.
Question.
Yeah.
Who is he?
He
Yeah.
is like the most...
Okay. He is
Uh-huh.
a highly touted, just went #1 overall in the NBA draft.
To the
Oh.
Spurs.
He's perhaps the most
Hyped.
lauded
Yeah.
prospect since LeBron James.
This is like the next... He's looked at us like the next LeBron, okay?
He's the next LeBron and
That's-
he's 7'3".
that is
Victor
what-
Wembanyama. He's French,
Okay.
and he's really tall.
Call him Wemby.
I see.
call him Wemby.
We call him Wemby. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I saw the boardroom video that you guys did.
Oh
That was
yeah,
good.
that was good. Yeah.
That was awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't...
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Basketball.
basketball. I also saw this going around. I mean, his pitch was a little.
Well, I was
you
gonna
know.
say, can we talk about the pitch?
Yeah,
it was horrible.
It was horrible. And now the Bill Hader meme's going around where it's like whenever baseball players see an athlete from another sport throw a bad first pitch, it's Bill Hader like. So is this like give the baseball players some, I don't know, they're like, yeah, it's not that easy. You thought?
Well, to be fair, I mean, how can you even hold the ball properly when you're
It's like throwing a golf
crushing
ball.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I saw a video this morning. It was like basketball players were like running routes in football. Like the caption was, basketball players can play any other sport. It's like, no, you can't.
No.
Like you definitely can't. Baseball, I would say, is probably the most difficult sport to go from your sport to another sport. Like if you're a football player, actually, you know what? Football players can be good hitters. Like I've seen like a lot of NFL guys because they probably played baseball in college.
Yeah.
It's not like baseball is probably the most difficult sport to pick up.
Mahomes was a big baseball guy.
Yes, he sure was. I think Julian Edelman too.
Yep.
And Josh Allen are baseball guys.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, if you're going from any one sport to another, baseball has to be the hardest. Like you can, when there's a baseball movie, you can see that they did not cast baseball players for the roles.
You're telling me Freddie Prinze Jr. was not an iconic
Based
pitcher?
on, I'm saying like
Summer catch?
you can tell a lot about someone the way that they throw a baseball.
Oh.
You can't.
So
should
we
throw some
should
baseball.
all
Like what?
go
Yeah.
outside later
Throw some
and
baseballs?
throw some baseballs.
And then you tell us
What it says
you're
about
learning
us.
about us as we're throwing a baseball.
It's usually just did this person play baseball or not. Like I
Oh,
can't
that's
really-
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could
You
tell
said
a lot
you could
about
tell a
this person,
lot
about
like whether or
somebody.
not they ever played
So you
baseball.
definitely
yeah.
can't throw.
What are you talking about?
You definitely can't throw.
Are you
Emerson
kidding me?
would throw like this. He would be like,
Yeah, he would be that
No,
guy.
that's
Yeah.
absolutely not true.
I believe it to be true.
You can't even
I'm a
bring in.
freaking
You
athlete.
can't even bring
You're
in
not.
food
no, you're
for
not.
us.
Yes, I am.
Can you throw a
I am
baseball?
an athlete. Yes, I can throw a baseball,
you
dude.
can't even
Okay.
say it with a straight face. He just went like this.
Like
You,
I
you
remember.
you got pneumonia in the summer. You are
Yeah.
invalid for anything.
You almost died of pneumonia.
Can
and
we
it
go a
is
damn
the-
show
it's the year-
without my pneumonia coming up?
It's the year 2023. Okay. Now, speaking of places where pneumonia back in the 17th century used to run rampant, London, England.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more people probably cared
lot of-
about
What a
this
segue.
picture than the
What a
London
segue.
A lot of
series,
peasants
right?
died in England.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you care about London at all?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, I can't even pretend to care. No. I know that like they've been talking about starting
Nice
a
place.
league out there, kind of like baseball's version of the XFL.
No.
Yeah, where they would have like a London.
No,
No, dude.
They want America's game in London?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. Which would be cool, I guess, to an
Yeah.
extent. I don't know how much I would care about it, but no, I who was it talking about? Someone from the Cubs or Cardinals was getting interviewed about the London series, and they had to pretend like it was prestigious. And he was like, yeah, like you walk out there and it's like playoff atmosphere, and it's like, no, it's not.
No,
no, it's not.
These people don't understand what
Everyone
they're
there is like,
watching.
And they were
Throw
like,
another.
yeah, and they're like, oh, like, it's a great opportunity to market all the stars in the game because the whole world is watching.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're definitely not.
Right.
They're like, why are they using their hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. World Baseball Classic, 100% agree. Like, the whole world was watching the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
People were locked in. People cared about that. The London series, I could not have cared less.
You didn't even watch Steve.
I don't care. Like, it does nothing for me. Like, if they do like these specialty games, like Field of Dreams, that got my attention.
Yep. Yeah.
I want to watch that. That is cool. That is something significant. Like, I want to see that. And they did a really good job of that. Like, players come out of the cornfield. Like, that was awesome. You're in a different,
They should have just brought them over here and then made them play cricket.
They
That
should have
would've
just
been
done it
interesting.
like the moon landing. Just have the game in Utah and be like, we're here in London.
But like that's what it is. They just like throw it on like a random date on the calendar. Like, oh, here's the London series. Like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I get trying to expand the game from a business perspective. Sure, it makes a lot of sense. From like a fan perspective, like
Like, we
the hell
fought
do I
for
care?
independence from England. Why are we trying to give them baseball now?
Yeah.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
baseball's
No,
our
They
thing.
That's a great
also,
point.
Yeah.
I feel like British baseball fans are intense. Like there are baseball fans over there that really care. I think the London series was almost throwing them a bone more than it was attracting new fans.
Well, I think the most rabid fans in the world are like English Premier League fans.
Yeah,
There
they're
are also
crazy.
English Jaguars fans over there as well.
Ah,
That's
So maybe they're trying to just rope some of those, get some of those guys
could
in
be.
there.
Yeah, I could see that being.
It didn't. It didn't work.
okay. Enough of that.
All right, tally ho.
We got to take a break. Last week, as we mentioned at the start of the show, you
No,
were,
That was
Bring
actually
in
pretty
the
decent.
accent.
That was pretty decent.
okay. You were in Arizona last week,
Very off.
and so we're going to talk about
Yeah.
the next wave of talent in baseball. We'll show you the best of Carabas at the
Oh,
combine.
he's gone
next.
way down.
That
That
was
went
the
way
right
downhill.
answer.
I
It
failed.
started off great.
I absolutely failed.
yeah,
Yeah.
we changed geography
Damn.
quick.
Awful, dude.
Damn.
Stop.
Hey, back here on the
Hey.
Sweat Tuesday Takeover with
Yeah.
Jared Carabas. He's back in studio. He has returned from Arizona,
That's the pool.
the desert, the annual MLB Draft Combine.
That's the pool.
That looks like a pool, all right,
Oh yeah.
filled with water.
Yeah. So how was the experience? You got to report live from a pool, wearing no pants, wearing shorts.
Just shorts. Yeah. It was.
The
something.
look was different.
I'm not wrong when I say
collared
you
shirt.
weren't wearing pants.
I was not wearing pants. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, it's another ballpark to check off. I had never been to Chase Field before. It was an eye-opening experience to talk to some of these kids and be like, "What year were you born?" And they're like, "2004."
No,
And I'm
no.
like,
Freaking
"Stop,
That's
dude."
awful.
Like,
Yeah,
I was
that's
in high
awful.
school. Like, I was going to Fenway. Like, we were drinking in the woods at that point. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But yeah, no, I had an awesome time. I mean, like every one of the players that I interviewed, they were really cool, and like they were very professional for their age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that, and we have examples of that to show the people at home right now.
Oh,
Okay, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
a pro's pro.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of our young stars, he's a podcast superstar, social media darling, Jared Carabas.
I figured I was going to take a lot of stuff for my legs being on camera. I didn't think I was going to be taking some shade about my height, but he's 6'7". You already have show hair. You told me you don't use product. There's no way that that's true. Too smart to race him right now. That would be a dumb decision. There's a third one. We got another brother, Miles. What's going on, man? How sick of you already are you to like the Shohei Ohtani? Like, can you reach the Shohei Ohtani level?
Game 7 World Series, would you rather strike the side out to win, or would you rather hit a walk-off home run? And I chose walk-off home run.
Do you know how many stolen bases you would have if you took your stolen bases from college and extrapolated that over a big league season?
I don't.
110. Like, your dad was an all-star in the big leagues for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and you get to grow up with that. And how much of his knowledge did you take?
I was a little stubborn when I was younger, that father-son stuff where he's, Dad, stop talking to me. Like, I got it. I can do it. But
Who would you choose to be your player comp? Because that's what fans are always talking about when it comes to draft time.
Right now, I've been interested in watching guys who like Corbin Carroll, who plays on this field as a home field, and I'm watching what he's been doing this past year, and I'm like, that's a really good player right there.
It's your big league debut. You can have one celebrity sitting behind home plate for your big league debut. Who are you picking?
I think definitely got to go with Drake. The hometown here, you got to have him at the game. It'd be an honor to have him watch me. But yeah, I think definitely Drake for sure.
I like that question. The one celebrity behind home plate
Yeah.
you would want there for your
Yeah.
big league
That was
debut.
a great question.
Thank
That
you.
was an awesome question.
I actually thought
What
about
would your answer be?
One celebrity to be sitting behind home plate if I made my big league debut.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care
It's a
about
great question. It's just a question.
Emerson.
You can't put him
Emerson,
on the spot.
It's
I don't-
Emerson?
No. Yeah.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
I got you, bro.
Yeah,
he would
thank
just
you.
be like a hot dog right behind home plate.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
so
Lincoln
embarrassing.
sucking down a glizzy.
Lizzie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
stupid.
I don't know. I don't really
Yeah, I know.
participate in celebrity culture.
Kane.
I don't. Yeah. Kane.
Kane.
The Undertaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What about Steve?
Steve,
Do you
what
have
about
one?
you?
John Dillinger.
He's dead.
Yeah.
What about
Oh,
someone
okay. Well, you can also resurrect people from the dead?
Yeah, why not?
You could.
He was a big baseball guy, and he was a great bank
Okay,
robber.
cool. I
Is he a
choose
Cubs
Abraham
fan?
Lincoln.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself, Jared, a social media darling?
What's wrong with John Dillinger?
Is that how I was described?
That's that they described you as a
They were
social
like,
media darling.
Jared
at one
Carabas,
point.
podcaster, social media darling.
I mean, I don't know that I would use the word darling. Maybe
Yeah.
aficionado.
Oh, that's
okay.
much better.
Yeah.
Darling's kind of weird.
Yeah. Because it makes me feel like a
Like
pageant
I would
girl or
call
something.
Jesse Darling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
I'm definitely a
There's-
darling.
I don't
There's
know.
two words.
You've got an
There's
edge
two
and
words that are-
aggression to you.
No.
Many do not say.
Yeah.
There's
I
two-
have scars on my arm to prove it.
Yeah, when Emerson acts up, I scratch him.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, like that keeps him in line, and that's fair.
Obviously.
Yeah.
He cries about it for days afterwards. But
Yeah.
he needs a firm hand. Who was your favorite prospect to talk to? Do you have one? You said everybody was very mature, even though they were like 10.
Yeah. So this kid, Max Clark, right? 18 years old. He's probably gonna go somewhere in the top five-ish. Yeah. He hit like 466 or no 646 or whatever it was. Absolutely ridiculous. Yep. Okay.
There you
Number
go.
4.
He lands on Steve's top 5 prospects here.
Yep. Number
Wow.
4 there. Oh, you have Skeens going 3?
Yeah.
You're insane.
No.
Why is he insane?
He throws 100 and he's a starting pitcher. He's
Right.
a beast. He's like Steven Strasburg without the injuries.
He's got a
So
mustache
you think
too,
he's
right?
going higher?
I think Skeens is going to go 2.
Okay.
But I also heard that Dylan Cruz might refuse to sign. So
Yeah, I did,
now
yeah.
Pittsburgh is
Go Langford.
considering other options for 1-1. So
Why
I
would
don't know.
he
Maybe
Why would he refuse to sign?
money.
Okay.
Yeah. But Max Clark, he's the most viral prospect in the draft. He's got all these like YouTube videos have hundreds of thousands of views on them. He's got like over 300,000 Instagram followers.
That's wild.
18 years old, and he hasn't
He's a
played
social
professionally.
media darling.
He is a social media darling. First, that's an example of a social media darling, 100%. He had this like posse that was following him.
His people.
He had his people. He had a camera crew that was filming him for like a vlog, and then he had these like little fans that had like followed him. And then after he was done with the interview with me, he was like signing baseballs after
Wow.
for like a crowd of people. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The
Good
rest
kid,
of
though.
this makes sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Steve, defend yourself.
it's just
What?
not.
He said yeah.
Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
he
but
said yes.
yeah, like the names. I get. Yeah.
yeah,
some,
that was like a
combination of.
question mark.
There's nobody else who should be in here.
No, this is the top 5 for sure.
You might think that they might be in slightly different places, but there's no other name you think should be in the top 5.
Yeah, no, this is probably the right mix of names, but the order leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot to be
There's-
desired.
there's
The
some-
only thing
yeah.
you disagree was that Skeens could go 2 and then.
Skeens could go 1.
Well,
I mean, there's some.
I'm not the Pirates, all right? This is
you're
just
not.
what I would do. If I was in control of all 5 draft picks, this is the order that I would go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Skeens was phenomenal in the World Series. I think he had 46 pitches of 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
or more, which is insane. The only thing my only qualm about Skeens is that I just feel like his delivery is just so violent that like something has to change with
Something's
that.
gonna pop. Happens, dude.
It just stuff like that happens. Like I worry about his delivery because like his stuff is like wiffle ball stuff. Like it's insane. But I do worry about the manner of his delivery and if they're going to have to change that for his long-term usage as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of there being a lot to be desired, let's take a look at you taking BP while you were out there in Arizona. We have video of that. Let's roll it.
Sot.
I wanted to take some swings beforehand, but I went in there without any sort of warm-up. I just kind of went in there, took some hacks. I did have some advice from Sean Casey. The mayor was talking in my ear, letting me know what I should do, what I shouldn't do. But, I mean, it was all just line drives up the middle. I didn't swing and miss once. I haven't seen live pitching since probably 2010. So, for all things considered, I did pretty well.
Well, Jared, we do have a comp. We do have a comp based on the exit velocity and where the balls went off your bat. So this is the closest comp we could come up with, and that's Corbin Carroll.
Oh!
More than likely going to win the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Your exit velo on average was a tick over 66 miles per hour. That's impressive. It's not the 91.
You sure it wasn't upside down?
No, it's not upside down.
I think it's upside down. I think it's 99.
Our graphics department does not make mistakes. Launch angle, a little different, but I thought it was a very, like I said before, a courageous performance, Jared. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, also, you know, they've been saying on the Red Sox broadcast that exit velo is overrated. It's all about finding grass out there, Greg, and that's what I was doing. It was a whole lot of finding grass, line drives, getting on base, and I'm more of a 2-hitter than a 3-4 guy.
And thanks again to all of our friends at MLB Network for hooking us up with that fantastic video, especially of your swing. Can you grade yourself and your BP performance here?
Yeah, so I was told, like, hey, go down under the tunnel and take some practice swings and, like, warm up. And then I go down there, and there's 2 cages. And there are kids in there that are trying to, like, get their swings in before they're the biggest showcase of their entire lives. So I'm standing there, and I'm like, I am not going to ask them if I can get in the cage and take some practice swings. So I was like, all right, I'm good. So I walk up, and I get in the cage, or not in the cage, like get out there for BP, like completely,
Cold.
just roll out of bed. And so the first round, I'm just warming up. Like I'm just like trying to like swing without my back getting thrown out. And a lot of pressure. They're putting you up on the big board.
Yeah.
There are Major League Scouts here. There are the best high school prospects in the world are watching me right now. I was like, the last thing I want to do, I don't want to swing and miss.
Right.
And I don't want to pop up to the ceiling of the cage, which I did not do. My feet were all over the place the first round. My weight was shifting. It looked like the bat was 500 pounds in my hand. But by the third round, I was hitting absolute rockets. MLB Network did me dirty because they put my average exit velocity up there. My max exit velocity was like 88 and change, which is pretty respectable.
Is it?
Because we
Is
do
that
have your
respectable, Steve?
advanced metrics. We do have all of those.
Yeah. Let's see them because.
But you're also a man of the people by not going down there and taking some kids BP under while you warm up.
I would rather embarrass myself than try and take those kids off course.
What a guy.
Steve,
He's a good guy.
These advanced
Certified
metrics,
good guy.
where would a prospect with these numbers land on your list ahead of the draft?
How many rounds are there?
I think there's
20.
still like 300.
20?
Yeah.
300?
20. There's 20 rounds.
20 rounds?
Yeah.
Your name would get called.
Hey, that's all that matters. Did you get any calls from any of those scouts in the stands?
All of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what I thought.
They all called me and they were like,
Are you the social media darling from
yeah,
DraftKings?
you are the social media darling that can hit a baseball 88 miles an hour. And I was like, listen, I already have a job. You know,
Thank you
I
for
appreciate
remaining
it.
loyal to us.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but I already am under contract and I'm an employee elsewhere.
Yeah.
So thank you.
That's amazing.
A man of the people.
Loyalty.
That is
The average
loyalty.
exit velocity, though, no lie, that is pretty impressive, though.
Well, I mean, I think,
There he is.
trust me, if you had given me more time, I guarantee you I'm hitting a ball like 95 miles an hour.
Also,
Guarantee.
if you think about it, the kids you're competing against out there, again, they're like, what?
18.
Youths.
They are the youths of America.
Just youths of America.
Yes.
I mean, they don't sleep wrong and then wake up the next day and, you know, their neck hurts for a week.
Yeah, I think for me,
That happened to me.
I have not seen live pitching since probably 2010 at this point.
Sheesh.
So I'm like trying to get these kids. It is like the back of their hands. They're robots. They can just go in there and just whack baseballs. I'm trying to get the timing down.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get like my swing down, and to do all that with that much pressure, knowing that you're being filmed for national television, doing this in front of Major League scouts, doing this in front of baseball agents, doing this in front of the top talent in America for the high school level. I mean, props to me. I think I'm probably the best to ever do it that never did it.
You know what this sounds like?
What?
The gang goes to the batting cages.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
After you judge all of our throws and our form,
Yep.
we will go to the cages.
Okay.
Judge LSU winning the national championship last night. And is the College World Series the most underrated sporting event in America?
It's up there. I don't know what else to compare it to because I don't watch
either.
other
It was just a
sports.
question that popped into my head.
No, it's definitely up there. I think in terms of when you watch college baseball, at least from like the start of the playoffs are great, but even just the regular season's great too. Like the passion and intensity that the guys play with. You've got everything that you want that you don't get in Major League Baseball, you can get at the college level because they're having fun. Like that now you're starting to see it as of like this year. Like dugouts using props, like we did the whole segment with like the big hat and all that. That started with college baseball.
Yep.
Like when you had like Virginia doing like the Homer hammer and all that stuff. Like
It's like they can't leave the dugout with those props too. Because remember, there was a few cases this year where they like left with the big hat or something, just stepping right out of the dugout, and those kids are suspended for a game.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff starts with college baseball. I mean, you got like the pimp jobs where pitchers like you don't get college baseball fans who, if a guy pimps a homer, you're not going to get a college baseball fan being like, well, now we got to light him up with 99 to the ribs, like you get with Major League Baseball. In college, it's just like, hey, man, great celebration. That was awesome. Great pimp job.
All right, good stuff. We're going to take a break because coming up, you and Steve got to dive into tonight's slate, what's cooking there, like Shohei Ohtani on the mound and in the lineup. We'll break down this Tuesday night slate when we come back.
Welcome back to the Tuesday Takeover with the Sweat Media Darling, social media darling.
Social media darling. Yeah,
Jared
yeah.
Carrabis here. We're going to talk about tonight's baseball slate, a couple games going on, talk about some daily fantasy, some sportsbook plays for tonight. Let's start with the Reds-Orioles. We talked about that talked about that series earlier in the show here. Really good pitching matchup here tonight. We talked about how bad the Reds pitching has been. They're probably throwing out their best pitcher tonight, who's only been in the majors for about 25 innings, but like that just kind of talks about how bad their staff has been. Andrew Abbott going for the Reds here tonight, going up against Tyler Wells. Reds have lost 3 in a row coming into this game, but they're still only a half game back against the Brewers, which is incredible because they still have a run differential of -22, which is amazing when you think about how many runs that they've scored this month and still have that negative run differential of 22. What are your thoughts on this series here and really this game here tonight?
It's going to be a high offense series.
Yeah.
I mean, like both teams are going to be two teams that are going to be looking for starting pitching at the trade deadline. To your point earlier about essentially exploiting these teams that are in it that maybe shouldn't be in it or have not been in it in a long time, and they're like, hey, we got to strike while the iron's hot. That's why I think the Red Sox are a team that they've got to keep a guy like James Paxton healthy. But Reds, Orioles, high offense. Don't expect any 2-1, 3-2 ball games in this series.
All right, White Sox and Angels. Let's hit on that one there. You got Michael Kopech going up against Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, MVP favorite. Cy Young talking that one there. Angels have had a really strong opportunity to take advantage of the Astros who have been slumping. They're 3-7 over their last 10, but the Angels have been kind of playing mid-baseball as well, 5-5 over their last 10. Going up against a White Sox team that has been literally one of the worst offenses in baseball during this month, if it wasn't for Luis Robert, you know that guy, we'll talk about him in a second there. White Sox averaging 3.2 runs in the month of June. They have scored only more runs than the New York Yankees for the month as a whole. What are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, I mean, Luis Robert's hot right now. I think he's
hot.
homered like 4 times in the last 5 games. I think the Angels are in such a weird position right now because they are mid and they do have Shohei Ohtani, and that's going to be a name that comes up at the trade deadline. Ultimately, they're going to hang on to him because you can't get the true value for him. So let me ask you this. What is a worse look? If the Angels hang on to Shohei because they're in it and then they don't end up making it and then they get nothing for him, would you rather have them keep him and go for it or be like, hey, listen, even though we have him and we're in a playoff spot, we're not going to win a World Series this year. Let's face it. How would you approach that?
It's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
There is no winning outcome for the Angels out of this situation because if you trade him now while you're still in it, you're waving the white flag on what could be viewed as a successful season, maybe compared to what they've had. But then again, if you let him walk and get nothing for him, they could be missing out on what could be the greatest haul a team has ever received for a player. Mm-hmm. So it's a lose-lose. No one's going to be happy in the end. I think that's how you look at it.
On the White Sox side of things, Michael Kopech has still yet to become the guy that the White Sox thought that they were getting in the Chris Sale trade. So ultimately, that, you go back in history, even though the Chris Sale contract has been a disaster, an unmitigated disaster. You go back and make that trade 10 times out of 10 with hindsight here.
Absolutely, because who from that trade has done well for the White Sox? I
mean, Moncada's been fine.
Okay, yeah.
He's been fine. He's not been the player that I think the Red Sox thought that he was going to be when he first came up. And then a guy like Kopech, again, that's not someone that has pitched to his potential or what they thought he was going to be back then either.
All right, so going from 2 mid-teams to 2 good teams, Rays and D-backs are playing here tonight. Battle of 2 first-place teams in their respective divisions, although the Rays' lead is starting to shrink a little bit, only 4 games ahead of the Orioles coming into tonight. The Diamondbacks are in first place, 2.5 games ahead of the Giants, which is not something I would have expected for this National League West. Really good pitching matchup here tonight. Taj Bradley going up against Zach Gallen. 2 teams who do not really strike out against right-handed pitching, so 2 guys who are elite with strikeouts. May not see too much tonight with how these offenses have been going. What are your thoughts on this one here?
I'm going to be tuned in. This might even get big TV treatment.
Yeah, this is a game of the night potential.
Yeah, this a guy like Taj, who Marcus Stroman loves him. He was hyping him up on Twitter the other day. But for a kid that just made his big league debut not too long ago, very poised on the mound. He's not someone that if you were a casual baseball fan, you'd tune in to watch him pitch. You're not going to see someone that looks like they're relatively new to the league. And Zach Gallen, he's probably the most underappreciated starting pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
The Cardinals look dumber and dumber by the day for that trade. But yeah, no, this is going to be a great pitching matchup, and I'm excited to watch it.
All right, talking about daily fantasy plays here for tonight, we got the Dodgers going up against the Rockies. This is a good time for the Dodgers. Maybe get those bats going. They have been one of another offense that has been struggling all throughout the month of June. Now get to play in Coors Field. You got Freddie Freeman going against Connor Seabold tonight. Obviously a former Red Sox prospect there. Connor Seabold, 354 WOBA against lefties with 7 of the 11 home runs that he's allowed. We got Freeman coming into this game hitting .317 against right-handed pitching on the road. Obviously, Freeman signed that massive contract with the Dodgers. I would say that it's been a really good season for Freeman thus far. It doesn't get a lot of talk about because of some of the other players here, but Freeman's been a huge part of this Dodgers offense, even with the whole team struggling as much as they have offensively.
Yeah, it's also like, if you're a Braves fan, and just to go back to the Red Sox here, like if you're a Red Sox fan, you see a guy like Mookie Betts having success, it's like, well, man, like Alex Verdugo is never going to be Mookie Betts. Like he can be an all-star caliber player, he can lead the league in doubles, and he can be a good player, but he'll never be Mookie Betts. Like right now, the Atlanta Braves have Matt Olson, who's just tied Shohei Ohtani. Shohei hit another one
just
last night.
took the lead again. Yeah,
so he tied him over the weekend. Ended up hitting his 25th. So yeah, I mean it's still weird to see Freddie Freeman not as an Atlanta Brave, but then when you look over at first base and you see Matt Olson, you're like, yeah, it's not so bad.
No, it's not. I mean, Olson has been amazing for them power-wise. I think in that series against the Reds, did he have 4 home runs in that series? I think it was. He did. Yeah. It's just Olson has been a fine replacement for somebody you would deem probably irreplaceable in Freddie Freeman.
But Freddie Freeman can also be one of those examples of a guy where it's like, hey, we're a little weary about signing a player that's like 31, 32, and look at what he's doing. He's gone to a bigger market, and he's on the wrong side of 30, but still performing at a very high level.
On the sportsbook side here tonight, one play that I do like is with the Padres and Pirates. That game total is set at 9 runs here tonight. I just feel like that's a little high, especially for this pitching matchup here. Rich Hill, look, he's not lighting opposing offenses up, but he's been pitching well enough that it's been keeping Pittsburgh into these games. Pirates, they have been the definition of a team that is either red hot or ice cold. 2.3 runs per game over the last 2 weeks for the Pirates. This is a team that just a couple of days ago it felt like was in first place in that NL Central. What do you think about this game here tonight? Obviously, the Padres continue to just be in the dwellings of that National League West.
Yeah, I like the under on the runs too. I mean, Xander Bogaerts, a guy that, to use the same word again, he was very poised in Boston, came out over the weekend and was like, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like this is the Nationals that we're playing against. We're the San Diego Padres. You go back to that fan fest that they had in the offseason, and they're doing the Miami Heat spiel. Not one, not two. You got Tatis being like, who are we gonna play in the World Series? Oh, it doesn't matter because we're gonna win it anyway. And they can't even beat the Washington Nationals, who aren't even trying to win baseball games right now. So you've got Juan Soto and everyone else. Like Juan Soto is very quietly having an outstanding season from an offensive standpoint, but everyone else in that Padres lineup, it is uninspiring, to say the least.
Speaking of uninspiring, did Luis Robert ruin your weekend this past weekend?
He did ruin my weekend this past weekend, yeah. I'm going to put it more on Josh Winkowski just because he can't get swings and misses to save his life right now, but he gave up 3 on Saturday, but then Luis Robert just keeps going and he hits even more on Sunday. So it is what it is. They hit one last night too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about that a little more after the break. Jesse and Emerson will join us once again. It's the Sweat Tuesday Takeover with Jared Carabas. We'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tuesday Takeover with Jared Carrabis.
That's me.
He's here in the flesh. Steve Buchanan. We let Emerson
Here every
Latzia join us as well. So we love to be here on Tuesdays. Why?
What?
Just, okay.
What? What is wrong with you?
He's so dumb. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, we know.
Anywho,
Gets pneumonia.
no, an incredible tease that
It
you had
affected his
before break,
brain.
and it really grabbed me, and it really got my attention. You mentioned someone who may have ruined your weekend.
Oh,
Who was
yeah.
it? Who ruined your weekend?
It was Lou Bob, Luis Robert.
Why?
Yeah.
He hit a lot of home runs against the Red Sox, and the Red Sox lost to a very, can I say bad? Is it? They're a bad team.
Yeah.
They're a bad team.
Yeah, and he was named the American League Player of the Week
Probably because of what he did against the Red Sox.
because of what he did against the Red Sox.
Yeah,
He might have the best swing in baseball, maybe.
I mean,
Ooh,
20
it's
home runs.
It's
Steve,
something.
20 home runs, 20 doubles.
Yeah, first player in the league to do that this year.
Oh my God!
Wow, can you believe that, Jared?
I can't.
His
I cannot.
follow through is just.
It's nice. It's nice. It's
like
not-
Acuna,
it's sweet.
like it's right up there with Acuna.
Yeah, I would have to really think about it for like best swing. I mean, it's not a bad swing. It's a nice swing. This is another guy too that anytime, like Red Sox fans do this, right? Like the Red Sox are playing a team and there's one player that beats up on them and they're like, oh, we got to trade for this guy. We gotta trade. I can't wait to see him with the Red Sox. There's no chance the White Sox are trading him. That's the one guy that you hang on to. They have plenty of tradable commodities. They've got some guys that are coming up on free agency at the end of the year. Lucas Giolito, first name that comes to mind. Would love to have him here. My hair compadre. Yeah, it's a beautiful swing.
Yeah.
I love the swing. I love Shohei's swing too. We're just talking righties, but that's the one guy that you hang on to and build around.
Does that mean Sox fans are going to be wanting the team to trade for Arias after this series here?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. But
Hot.
yeah, when we were talking about the National League MVP earlier, and we did not mention Luis Arias' name.
No, let me pull him up
And
here.
I don't know that. I mean, I think we're really going to see. Like, this is going to be a very interesting year for MVP voting because we're going to see how the voters' brains work.
Plus 2,500. So that would be fourth best odds on the board because he's tied with Mookie
It
Betts.
wouldn't make sense for him
I
to
agree.
win MVP.
No.
Like, can I just say, like, this might be like considered like a hot take. Like, if they were to trade him, the haul that the Marlins would get back would be robbery. Okay? Because yes, Arias gets on base at a ridiculous clip. That's kind of all he does. Like, there's no power. You know, like he's not like a plus defender.
But don't
like,
the nerds love that stuff?
No.
But
Are you speaking for them?
Are you a nerd?
like, would you say like
I
he-
thought you were a social media darling.
I'm a social media nerd, darling.
Okay.
Like, would you
Yeah.
say that like it would be a bad like because they would obviously ask for a lot because I mean the guy's hitting over 400 or whatever, but like he does like I don't want to say he's one-dimensional because like I don't want to take away from what he's doing, but like he kind of is like yes
I
he
don't want
gets
to
on
say
base,
it, but say it. Just say
he
it.
gets
Say it,
on.
Coward.
He's one-dimensional.
So here's the thing. He's not a free agent after this year. I believe it's after next year.
I don't know his contract.
I think it's after next year. Either way, he has to make $100 million. Like, he has to make $100 million because if he doesn't, you are now telling hitters across the league that hitting for average doesn't mean anything. Like, someone has to pay him at least $100 million. Because if that's not the case,
That's like what Josh Donaldson's contract is.
Oh boy.
whoa.
That's a fact, bucko.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're just telling guys throughout the rest of the league, hey, hit the ball hard, try and angle it up. Like that's what you're telling guys is that hitting like batting average doesn't matter, so it's okay to go out there and hit 230 as long as your OPS is 850.
All right, man. Less than a minute to go and show.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to tease about the pods?
Yeah, tell us something
This
that
is
the
your
people should
opportunity
be
here.
aware of. You were in Cape Cod yesterday. Is that
I was in Cape Cod yesterday, threw out the first pitch.
Great.
It was a ball inside. It's okay. Still a good pitch though.
Okay.
You got to trying to get the righty off the plate there. I'm going to Chicago this weekend.
That's right.
Cubs guards, and I don't know who we're gonna get, but we're gonna
Yeah.
get somebody.
Sounds like there could be some NASCAR content squeezed in there too. We'll
Yeah.
have to listen and find out.
Yeah, listen and find out. I know I'm gonna try and get the Biebs. So that I mean
Okay.
he's not pitching this weekend, so that seems to be the leader in the clubhouse for something that we could come back with.
Great. Well, we are rooting for you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
We
I
are.
appreciate that.
Thanks. You too, bud.
Steve Buchanan.
And you too, watching us right now, if you're still watching us.
Yeah, because we will be back next Tuesday, as we always are. Jared, are you going to be here next Tuesday?
I will.
Oh, wow!
It's the 4th of July. I'm not going to be
Never
here.
mind. We won't
I'll be
here.
sucking down glizzies.
None of us will be here. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Will you be here?
2 weeks, yeah.
All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks so
See
much.
you in 2 weeks.
Bye.